Hey everyone, welcome to your Vinyasa practice. Today we will look at a couple of specific movements that the shoulder girdle and the hips make and that the body is meant to make. So the first one will be a look at protraction and retraction of the shoulder girdle. Protraction is when the shoulder blades spread away from one another, the upper back kind of rounds a little bit. Retraction would be when the shoulder blades squeeze together on your back and the heart starts to move forward. So protraction, you're kind of rounding the back, you feel your scapula spread away from one another. Retraction, scapula squeeze together. And your scapula are these triangular-like bones, shoulder blades, on the back of the body. They're responsible for that rotation of the arm and also the press and the pull of the chest and the upper back. The second thing we'll take a look at is the rotation of the pelvis. So there's something called anterior tilt to the pelvis when the butt sticks out behind you, the lumbar spine curves, the belly kind of juts forward. And then there's the posterior tilt where you're tucking the tailbone underneath. You could think about it as kind of scooping the tailbone up and under. You're kind of attempting to straighten out the back body, but it doesn't always work out, right? Okay, so anterior tilt's when the pelvis moves forward, the hip bones move down and forward, and the butt sticks out and back. Posterior tilt, tucking it down and under. So we'll start by, one thing I would suggest if you do have blocks at home, maybe you go grab some blocks. If you don't have blocks, don't worry about it, but it might be just a nice thing to see this practice with blocks versus without it. You could try it both ways. So if you do have blocks, set them on their lowest setting, right underneath the shoulders. Spread your fingers, plant your palms. So let's try that protraction and retraction of the shoulder girdle. First, on your inhale, you'll let the chest move towards the mat, and you'll let the shoulder blades kind of squeeze towards the spine. On your exhale, press the blocks or the floor away, round the upper back. Feel the scapula spreading away from one another. Let's just do that a few times. Inhale, move the heart down, shoulder blades come together. Exhale, press the floor away, shoulder blades move apart. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good, so now we'll add on that movement and we'll kind of just first isolate the pelvis. So I want you to think about the pelvis tipping down. Maybe you're pouring liquid out of the pelvis as the sits bones move back and up. That's your anterior tilt. As you're scooping the tailbone down and under, that's your posterior tilt. So it's kind of that rounding of the spine. See if you can just isolate the movement in the pelvis. Inhale, let the belly draw down, tailbone lifts. Exhale, hug the navel up and in, tailbone tips towards the backs of the knees. Try that a few times on your own with your breath. One more time through. Good, let's come back to a neutral spine. You might still be on the blocks, and if you don't have blocks at home, another thing you could try would be to come to the fingertips. You could also make a fist and press down through the knuckle. So fingertips, fist, or hands on blocks, you're creating a longer arm. You're creating more space between the chest and the mat. On your inhale, extend your right foot back, just neutral through the spine. Let that right knee point down, flex the toes. Now start to get a sense of what the pelvis is doing and what the shoulders are doing. So really hug the navel up and in. Now as you exhale, round the upper back, press the floor or the blocks away. Start to curl that right knee in towards the nose. And notice maybe because you have more clearance underneath the body, you can get your right knee a little bit closer to your nose. This is going to make it a lot easier as you practice stepping through from downward facing dog to a low lunge. Set that right knee back down. Starting to wake up that hip flexor a little bit. Inhale, extend the left leg back. And just get a sense of what's going on with the pelvis. So if you're lifting that left leg a little higher, you might start to feel some crunchy in the low back. Just bring it down. That left leg doesn't have to be super high. Get a sense of pressing down into whatever it is that's underneath your hands. Start to press that away, press the floor or the blocks away. And then as you exhale, start to hug that left knee in towards the chest. Round the spine, get a sense of how close you can get that left knee towards the nose. Just pause there, breathe. A little bit of work for the hip flexor. And then exhale, set that left knee back down. Good. Take a big breath in, let the heart move towards the floor, let the shoulder blades come together on the back. And on your breath out, if you're using your blocks for now, just set them off to the side. Let's sit back on our heels for a moment. We'll just roll out the wrist. Just roll the wrist in a circle and then change the direction with that circle. So today we'll practice stepping through from our downward facing dog to our low lunge, and having that awareness of what the shoulder girdle can do to move the floor away from you is really going to be helpful if stepping through to low lunge can be challenging. It can be challenging for most of us in our Vinyasa practice. Let's shake out the wrist, just shake out the hands, right to left, shake, shake, shake. Now shake the hands up and down like you're waving at somebody with both of your hands vigorously. And one more time, side to side. Good. Roll out the shoulders, right and left, rolling the shoulders back. Roll the shoulders forward, right and left. And let's plant the palms, spread your fingers wide, plug into your 10 fingers, curl your toes, lift and hover your knees. And then send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Settle into your downward facing dog. Maybe you walk it out. You can bend your knees right and left. Relax your head. And then notice what the shoulders and the pelvis are doing in downward facing dog. Oftentimes what happens when we come to this with less awareness of the shoulder girdle is the shoulders kind of pinch towards one another, and that narrows the space between the necks. So can you get that sense of broadening the upper back? Spread the shoulders away from one another. And you get a sense of the tailbone lifting and your navel hugging up into your spine. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now as you inhale, lift up onto the ball mounds of the feet. Keep inhaling around the spine. Shift forward into your high plank. If your high plank is too short, you're going to know it because you're going to feel like you're going to fall forward. So maybe you walk your hands forward an inch or two. And just pause here in your high plank. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Find that posterior tilt to the pelvis so it scoops down and under. At the same time, you're finding protraction of the shoulder girdles. That means the upper back is slightly round and the scapula is spreading away. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Relax your head. One more big breath in here. Big breath out. Let's come back into that high plank step by step. So lift onto the ball mounds of the feet. Start to round the upper back towards the ceiling as you shift forward, lengthen out into high plank. Keep pressing the floor away. Keep squeezing the inner thighs. Think about reaching the crown of the head forward and the heels back. Press down into your hands, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Okay, so let's add on. Breathing in, stretch your right leg up and back.
And just notice what happens to that right hip joint. Normally, it wants to open out to the side. You want to find external rotation. This is pretty natural. Just let it do what it wants to do. Then set that right foot back down. Inhale, extend your left leg up and back. Notice if the hip wants to open and rotate externally. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, reset your hands. Make sure you're still engaged through the fingertips. You're still pressing down. You're still spreading your scapula wide. Back to the right side. Inhale, lift the right leg up. This time, keep the right knee pointing down towards the mat. That might mean your leg doesn't lift as high. That's okay. So keep that in place, squaring towards the mat. Take a breath in and a breath out. Shift forward, start to pull that right knee in towards the nose. And pause there. Your left leg's still in high plank. Your right thigh is hugging up into your chest. Press the floor away. Make a little bit more space. Now can you shift forward, set that right foot down in between the hands. Set your left knee down. Walk the hands up to the right thigh. Back off. Reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana. If you want a little bit more in your Anjaneyasana, left hand can move down to the back of the left thigh. Right hand cradles the back of the head. And then see if you can square the shoulders forward. So think less about back bend, so my chin's not jutting up towards the ceiling, but rather I'm using this pressure of my hand into the back of my head to find a nice long spine. I'm lifting up out of the waist, out of the shoulder, out of the neck. Deep breath in. Breath out, release, extend the arms. Palms plant. Okay, so here, as we transition back to downward facing dog, maybe you take blocks again underneath the hands. This creates more space underneath the body to make that transition. Curl your left toes under, lift your left knee. That right foot can move towards the midline of the mat. Lift your right heel. Really strong on your left leg. Squeeze that right heel towards the right glute. And then send your right foot back, downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, if your hands are on your block and they're slipping, that's okay. You can set your blocks off to the side. If the blocks are feeling good there underneath the hands, just keep them. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Try that on the second side. Inhale, lift the left leg up and back. Keep that knee pointing down. Hips are squared. Start to rise onto the ball end of the right foot. Bend the left knee, hug it into the chest. As you shift forward, you're rounding the upper back. Can you squeeze that left thigh into the chest? Press the floor away. Then see about stepping the left foot up between the hands. Set your right knee down. Walk your hands up to your left thigh. Anjaneyasana, lift the arms. Breath in, breath out. If you want a little bit more, you can bring that right hand back to the right hamstring. Left hand cradles the back of the head. Creating a little bit of space in the front body, but not at the expense of the lumbar spine. So think about creating a slight bit of posterior tilt. That means the tailbone's tucking down towards the back of the right knee. You're pressing the head into the left hand as you lift up and out of the waist, out of the shoulders, out of the neck. For 2 and 1. Re-extend the arms. Hands frame that left foot. Feel free to use your blocks or not. Curl your right toes under, lift your right knee. So with intention to this transition, start to move that left foot towards the midline of your mat. Hug that left knee into the chest, lift your left heel. From here, bend the knee, squeeze the heel towards the glute. Shift all the way back, downward facing dog. Maybe you move your blocks out of the way. All right, so we'll add on to a Vinyasa flow. From your downward facing dog, take a big breath in, a big breath out. Rise onto the ball mounds of the feet, ripple the spine forward. Find that high plank shape that we've been practicing. From here, bring the knees down to the mat. Uncurl the toes so you're on the tops of the feet. Keep your elbows in close. Start to lower your chest and your chin so your tailbone's still lifted. Take a breath in here. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Wrist walk back underneath the elbows. And slither the spine forward. Low belly presses down. Arms come down alongside the body. The palms are facing the ceiling. Backs of the hands are pressing down. So your 10 fingernails are in contact with the floor. Just take a moment here to curl the chin in, rest the forehead. Now, just engage the quadriceps so the knees lift away from the mat. You're still pressing down through your feet and your hands. On your next inhale breath, lift the chest, the shoulders, the crown of the head. Keep pressing down through the 10 fingertips. Another inhale, stretch the feet up and back. It's as if you're creating one long line of strength from the crown of the head down to the toes and the soles of the feet. One more breath in here. Breath out, lower back down. Palms underneath the shoulders, press up to hands and knees. Move right into cat shape. So move the spine towards the ceiling, arch the upper back. Inhale, shift forward, lengthen out through the spine, curl the toes under. Lift and hover the knees. All the way up, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, extend your right leg up and back. On your exhale, just like you've done before, lift onto the left ball mound. Bend your right knee, shift forward, squeeze that right thigh in towards the chest. Press the floor away around the spine. Step the right foot up in between the hands. Again, you can gather blocks here underneath the hands. We're going to move through a few lunges here, cat and cow lunge. So your inhale, really sink deeply into the hips. Nice deep bend into your right knee. Your left leg is still active. It's like the left leg never left plank. Lift the heart a little bit. And your exhale, 2 straight legs. Forehead moves towards that right shin. Inhale, shift forward. Nice deep bend to the right knee. Lift the heart a little. You get a sense of the protraction and retraction of the shoulder girdle as you move in and out of these 2 shapes. Start to use the momentum of your breath to guide you. Let's say twice more on your own. Next time you shift forward, pause there in that low lunge. You might move that left foot up just a little bit, maybe a few inches, so that you feel really solid in this low lunge stance. From here, let's lift the arms up towards the ceiling, arrive into crescent lunge. If you need to adjust your feet to feel really stable, the wider the feet are, maybe the more space and more balance you have. Soften a little bit into that left knee as you reach your arms up. Breath in here. Your breath out, arms just move back. Fingertips reach back towards that left heel. Your inhale, the arms lift. Now straighten out that right leg. Curl your right toes towards your face. You're balancing on the ball mound of the right foot and the ball mound of the left foot. Exhale, rebend that right knee, arms sweep back behind you. Crescent lunge. Inhale, 2 straight legs, the arms lift. Right toes curl up. Maybe you float the ball mound of the right foot. So you're balancing on the right heel and the ball mound of the left foot. Set the sole of the right foot back down. Bend the right knee, arms come back behind you. Crescent lunge. Inhale, lift the arms, straighten out that right leg. Lift the toes.
Maybe you float the ball mound of the foot. One more time all the way through. Bend the right knee, arms move back. Inhale, arms stretch up, right leg straightens out, right toes curl up. Maybe you add on. Squeeze the inner thighs, keep the gaze focused. If you feel wobbly, you are not alone. Rebend that right knee, plant the right foot. Hands come to the hips. Step the left foot forward and just slightly out to the side. Seal the sole of the left foot down. Take those hips forward. You're squaring them towards the top of your mat. Keep both legs active and engaged. Keep pressing down through your feet. As you hinge from your hips, fold over the right leg. Hands come down to the floor or the blocks. Relax your head here. Relax the back of the neck. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now notice what the hips are doing. That right hip wants to move down and forward. Can you pull it up and move it back? Left hip, see if you can move that down and forward. One more breath in, breath out. We'll take a quarter turn to the left of our mat, and if you're using your blocks in your practice, just continue to move them along with you so that you have them there when you need them. So we'll pause here at the center of our mat and we'll turn our toes out, heels slightly in, walk the heels slightly forward so they're stacking underneath your knees. Rest your hands on your thighs. Big breath in. You're going to dip your right shoulder down, look over at your left shoulder. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, dip your left shoulder, look over your right. We'll do this side to side a few times, inhaling through center. Your exhale is when you twist. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist. One more time in each direction. Then come back through center, press down into your feet, stretch your arms up, straighten out through your legs. On your exhalation, we're moving to warrior two at the back of the mat. Left toes turn towards the back, arms stretch out wide. Bend that left knee so it's tracking right over the back of the left toes, back of the mat. Deep breath in here, breath out. Now we're going to close this warrior two down and we're moving to the back of the mat into Utkatasana, which is your chair pose. So really stabilize through that left knee. See if you can keep the left knee bent. As you breathe out, bring that right hand down, start to move the hips to face the back of the mat. Step the right foot to meet the left. Both knees are bent. Hips move back. Arms stretch forward, chair pose. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just bring your hands to your heart, relax your shoulders. Start to shift the weight into the left foot. As you do, stand up. Pull that right knee up. The thigh is parallel with the ground. Flex your right toes. Breathe in here. Quadriceps lifting away from the knee on your standing leg. As you breathe out, can you straighten your right leg forward? Keep the toes flexed. Stretch the arms forward, flex the wrist. Toes and fingertips are pointing up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, pull that back in towards the midline. We're extending the right foot behind us. You're still balancing on the left foot. Fingertips come down underneath the shoulders. You're balancing in warrior three. So if you can get a sense of the right toes pointing down. So we're going to move in and out of half moon pose. Your left hand stays underneath the shoulder to stabilize. Right hand moves to the right chest. Start to rotate right shoulder, right hip towards the ceiling. External rotation. Your arms acting like a little piston here. Exhale, bring the right fingertips back down underneath the shoulders, square the hips. Right knee points down. Inhale, start to open up, right hand to right chest. Peel the right shoulder open, right hip open. Exhale, square everything towards the mat. One more time. Big breath in.
Big breath out. Walk the hands back towards the foot. See if you can plant the hands. Really reach through that right leg. Bend the left knee. Arrive in this low supported lunge. Okay, so same thing here. See if you can get a sense of that left heel lifting, the thigh squeezing towards the chest. Press the floor away. Send that left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Settle in here for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale, shift forward, find your high plank. Just in the same way you've been doing it, round the upper back, squeeze the inner thighs. Gaze is down right above the fingertips. Bring the knees down. Come to the tops of the feet. You're in this supported high plank still. Start to bend the elbows, keep them close. Bring the chest and the chin down. The tailbone's still kind of sticking up. Walk the wrists back underneath the elbows. Create a long neck. And then as you exhale, belly softens down. Arms come alongside the body. Press down through your 10-finger nail beds so the palms are facing the ceiling. Tuck your chin in, rest your forehead. On your breath in, engage your quadriceps, knees move away from the mat. Keep inhaling, lift the heart, lift the shoulders, lift the crown of the head. Add on the feet, stretch the feet up and back, point the toes. Add on the arms, this time the arms stretch back, keep the palms facing the ceiling. Keep the neck long. Start to feel that retraction of the shoulders, so scapula are squeezing together on your back. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out for 2. Last inhale. And exhale, slowly release. Palms underneath the shoulders. Press up to tabletop. Curl your toes under. Lift and hover your knees. Lift your hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Arrive, settle, reset. Second side, inhale, extend your left leg up and back. Keep the left knee pointing towards the floor, keep the hips squared. Rise onto the ball mound of the right foot. Start to shift forward, pull the left thigh towards the chest, round the spine, press the floor away. Step the left foot up between the hands. The blocks are right there within hand's reach, and you want to use them to frame that left foot out in this supported low lunge. Go ahead. So our inhale breath will be that cow-like lunge where we bend into the left knee, we pull the shoulder blades together on the back. The exhale will be pressing the left leg straight, rounding the chin in towards the chest, and the scapula move away from one another. Inhale, shift forward, bend that left knee. Exhale, move the hips up and back. A couple more times with your breath. One last cycle all the way through. As you rebend into that left knee, stabilize your feet here. So maybe the right foot moves just a little bit out to the side, right side. Stretch the arms up towards the ceiling, lift the heart, arriving into crescent lunge. If you need to reset your feet, reset your feet. Bend the right knee just a little bit, let it be soft. So on your exhale breath, the arms are just going to come down alongside the body. We're keeping the left knee bent. Stretch the arms back behind you. Feel shoulder blades squeeze together. On your inhale breath, straighten out through that left leg. Arms reach up, left toes curl towards the face. 2 straight legs. Exhale, bend the left knee, arms sweep down and back. Inhale, arms rise, left leg straightens, left toes curl up. Maybe you lift the ball mound of the left foot. Keep your eyes focused on one single point. That will help with the balance. Bend into your left knee, arms stretch back. Twice more through. Inhale, arms reach. Up for the ceiling, left toes curl up. Maybe the ball mound of the foot lifts. Rebend that left knee. Arms move down and back. One more time, just lifting the arms. Straighten out the left leg. Left toes curl up. Maybe the ball mound of the foot lifts and hovers. Maybe you wobble. Maybe you fall out. No big deal, just get back in. Seal the sole of the left foot, bend the left knee. Bring the hands to the hips. Step your right foot forward and just slightly out to the side. Press down into 2 straight legs and 2 flat feet. Square the hips towards the back of the mat. Hinging from the hips, fold over the left leg. Blocks are great here. If you have them, use them. Relax your head. Take some long sleep, long, deep, slow breath. Two more breath cycles. Stay aware of your feet and the rotation of your hips. Find a halfway lift here, and then begin to take a quarter turn, moving back to the right. You're going to pause just a quarter of the way into goddess pose. Toes turning out, heels moving underneath the knees, so stepping the feet forward a few inches, maybe hands rest on the thighs. So add a little bit of weight here. On your inhale breath, lift your right heel up. You're on the ball mound of your right foot. Exhale, release. Inhale, second side, pressing into the ball mound of the left foot. Left heel lifts. Set that back down. And start to pass from side to side with your breath. Keep it slow, methodical. The thighs might be starting to burn. This is okay. Even out your sides, plant both feet. I'll give you the option here of just staying as you are, lifting up through the heart, shoulders moving back over the hips, tailbone in posterior tilt. So think about tucking the tailbone down and under. You can stay here, or if you want a little bit more, maybe you lift and hover the heels. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Set those heels back down. Stretch the arms up, lengthen out through the legs. Exhale your way into warrior 2 at the top of your mat. Transition the toes first. The toes are what are kind of like your steering wheel for the rest of your body in your vinyasa practice. Settle in. Warrior 2, right toes pointing towards the top of your mat. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to practice that transition into chair pose, Utkatasana. The left arm is going to come down towards the floor. As it does, left leg starts to move towards the right foot. 2 bent knees, hip bones sit bones move down and back. And just let the arms be relaxed here. Maybe you bring your hands to your heart. Relax your shoulders. Begin to transition the weight into the right foot, hands to the hips. Standing up on that right leg, bend the left knee. Move that thigh to parallel with the ground. Flex the toes of the left foot. Focus your gaze on one single point, don't move it. On your breath in, reach through the arms and the left foot. Flex the wrist and the left ankle. Toes point up towards the ceiling, so do the fingertips. Deep breath in here. Your breath out, hug all that back into the midline. We're making that transition to supported warrior 3. Left leg moves back, fingertips down underneath the shoulders. Good, and get a sense of that left hip squaring down to face the floor. Right fingertips stay as a stabilizer underneath the right shoulder. Left hand moves up towards the left side of the chest as you rotate left shoulder and left hip towards the ceiling. Exhale, square that off. Everything faces the floor. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, close it back down. Let's try 2 more rotations. Left shoulder's working to stack on top of right shoulder. Left hip's working to stack on top of right hip. One more time through. And this time as the fingertips touch down, bring your palms back towards the right foot. Start to reach back through the right or the left toes. Bend your right knee and arrive into that supported low lunge. Now you're facing forward on your mat. Your right foot is forward, your left foot is in high plank. Get a sense of pressing the floor away, rounding that back. Can you pull that left knee up into the chest? Lift your right heel. I think I just said left, but what I meant was right. So we're hugging that right heel into the glute. And extend that right foot back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in, reset. Root down, feel the tailbone rise. Feel the crown of the head relax. One last vinyasa flow here. Methodical, slowly, just like we've done before. Inhale, shift forward. Find that high plank with integrity. Set the knees down first, uncurl the toes. You're coming to the tops of the feet. And then keep the elbows close, lower down to chin and chest. Get a sense of lengthening along the sides of the neck. Now relax your tailbone, come down to your belly. We'll take a different approach to this. So you're going to take your left elbow out to the side, rest your right cheek on the back of your left hand. Your right arm's going to move down alongside the body, the palm faces the ceiling. See if you can keep relaxing the right shoulder, right hand stays in contact with the floor. On your inhale, what you're lifting are the left hand, the left elbow, the left shoulder, and the right leg. Deep breath in here, deep breath out, lower back down. We're going to stay on this side for 3 more times. So as you inhale, lift up through that left elbow, left hand, right leg. Exhale, lower. Twice more, inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. One more time, lifting up. Exhale, lower. We'll switch out the hands and turn the gaze. So now you're looking at your right elbow. Your left arm is down alongside your body. That palm is facing the ceiling. The palm of the right hand is facing down and your left cheek is resting on the back of your right hand. Think about relaxing your left shoulder. Left hand is staying in contact with the floor. As you inhale, you're going to lift up that right elbow, the right hand, and left leg stretches up and back. Exhale, lower down. 3 rounds with your breath. Inhale to lift. Right arm, left leg. Twice more. Right arm, left leg. Exhale, lower. One last time. And lower. Turn the gaze down to face the floor. Palms underneath the shoulders. Press your way up to tabletop. Round the spine. Curl the chin into the chest. You're coming through one more round of cat. And set the hips down onto the mat. Take a look at me. And we're going to roll onto that right hip. I'm not mirroring you, by the way, so if it gets confusing, listen to what I'm suggesting right and left. So I'm seated on my right hip. My outer right leg is towards the mat. I'm going to pick up my left foot and I'm just going to pull it behind me so the inner left knee is relaxed on the floor. Just like I have these two stag legs or two 90-degree angle shapes with my legs. I'm going to turn over my right hip and plant my palms back towards the top of the mat. This provides a little bit of a twist through the spine. If you have blocks here, you can totally use them underneath your chest. So you can stay in this more upright position on your hands, or you could walk down onto your forearms. You can relax your chest any amount here. Maybe the blocks are right there, you can use them. Or maybe you're just offering the weight of your chest to gravity. A few deep breaths here. I'm going to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, press up. And now nothing changes with the legs. The legs stay as they are. We're going to turn the torso so it's moving forward over that right shin. Same option here to gather blocks or props underneath the chest, or you can just work with the body weight. So fingertips come to the ground in front of your right shin. Take a deep breath in, lengthen out through the spine. On your exhale, maybe you walk down to the forearms, the elbows. You can make a little pillow with the backs of your hands if that's accessible, or fist also work too. I'll settle in this shape for a little bit longer. I'm going to set the timer for us. We'll be here for just over a minute. If you're feeling any sharp shooting pain in either knee joint, you need to back out a little bit. So if you're forcing yourself into a fold and you're feeling sharp pain, back out. Maybe you sit upright. Wherever you are, notice your breath. Can you take the breath deep into the belly, in and out through the nose? Start to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, really slowly back off of that. One last little bit here on this right side. So the right heel can move a little bit closer to the hips. Pick up your left foot, you're going to move it all the way across, beyond the right thigh, set the sole of the left foot down. And then move on to both sits bones. Be sure your sits bones feel equally weighted between right and left. If these two bent knees don't work for you, you can extend that left leg forward. That's totally fine. Okay, so wherever you are, let's just give that left leg a little hug. So the left arm's going to wrap around the knee. You can interlace the hands and just kind of sit up nice and tall here. I'm going the wrong direction. So unwind out of that. Right hand, the elbow wraps around the left knee. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, so stay engaged so the outer right leg is still pressing down into the mat. You're starting to rotate over to your left. And you're giving a little squeeze of that left thigh into the belly with your right arm. Relax your shoulders, grow tall through the crown. You can stay just like this, or if you want more, left hand can come behind you. Right elbow can move to the outer left thigh. Continue to think about the length of the spine versus any level of depth in your twist. Think about growing tall first. The rest will come. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Slowly unwind it.
Bring your feet forward. You need to shake out your legs, go ahead. And then we'll take all of that off to the left side. So I'm going to roll onto my left hip first. I'm going to get that left shin squaring with the top of my mat. My ankle is in line with my knee, and my knee joint is in line with my hip joint. So just take a peek at that left leg, and then pick up your right leg, move it back behind you, set the inner right knee down behind the left foot. We'll turn over the left thigh. You're in this twist. And you know your options from here. You can walk down to forearms, you can stay up on the hands, you can build a little support system underneath the chest if you're forward folding, or if you're folding off to the side rather. Deep belly breaths. Let's take 3 here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Twice more. And one last time. We'll back out of that. If you were all the way in that side fold, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Let's turn the torso so that it's facing over that left shin. Bring your fingertips down to the space beyond the left shin. Lift up through the heart. And then when you're ready, start to fold any amount. Any amount is fine. There's no desired level of depth. Doesn't matter if you can fold all the way. It doesn't matter if you need to sit up here and pause and breathe. Be with your body where it is today. Just under a minute here. For most of us, this is going to be really different from right to left. Your body tends to have some discrepancy from side to side, just depending on how we carry ourselves throughout the day, how we hold ourselves when we're sitting in a chair, how do we walk, even how do we sleep, how do we hold ourselves when we sleep. These little intricate movements, they show up in our yoga practice. Let's start to release out of that fold. And you're still going to remain on that left hip. Pick up the right foot, swing it all the way over the left thigh. Bring that left thigh a little bit closer to the pelvis, but you're not sitting on the heel. You're still, both sits bones are sitting on the mat. And then again, you have the option of just extending the left leg forward. It does not need to be bent. If it is, you're sitting on your 2 bony sits bones. You're sealing the sole of the right foot down. Now we're going to take the left arm and give that right knee a little hug into the chest. You can interlace your fingers here. Just practice growing tall. Start to rotate a little bit more over the right shoulder. You can stay just as you are, or you can turn this into more of a twist. So the right hand kickstands behind you, left elbow moves to the outer right thigh. Think about growing tall through the spine. Then you find the rotation. The rotation will come. 3 deep breaths here. Unwind it, back through center, bring the feet forward, shake out the legs if you need. We'll settle onto our backs for Shavasana. Do you have any props at home that you want for your Shavasana? Blankets, pillows, anything that gets yourself really cozy and feeling nice and supported? Feel free to grab those. I'm going to grab a mat, or not a mat, a blanket and a pillow. So I like to take a pillow underneath the backs of my knees. I like to take a blanket underneath the back of my head. In your Shavasana, feel free to play with what feels best to you.
And once you've got that stuff, take a few moments to adjust yourself so you're lying on your back. Stretch your arms down alongside your body. Let your palms face the ceiling. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Slightly tilt the chin towards the chest. Deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale the air out. Let the eyes close down. Feel the weight of your body, the bones, the muscle, the skin, everything heavy. Cultivate a sense of heaviness through the body. Body is an organic substance that has roots that grow deep into the earth's core. Feel the space above you, the air against your skin, any texture against your skin, any sense of temperature, hot, cold, or just right. Bring your awareness to your sense of sound. Taking in any ambient background noise. If you're listening to music, notice. You tune into any sound of an electric vibration, a hum. You broaden your sense of sound to take in more beyond the room that you currently occupy. What do you notice? Begin to bring your awareness back to the breath, back to the body. Without opening the eyes, visualize the space around you. The objects, the colors, the shapes in the room. Very slowly begin to reawaken through fingertips and toes, moving the head side to side. When you're ready for more, stretch your arms up and overhead, point the toes away from the face, breathing into the length of the body. Exhale, bend the knees, roll off to a side fetal position, one full breath cycle in your fetal position. Maybe you keep the eyes closed and with as little effort as possible, begin to rise up to a comfortable seat. Feel your sits bones rooting down, feel your spine grow tall. Take your left palm flat against your heart, stack your right palm on top. Bow your chin to your chest. Feel your heart beating. Acknowledge, I am here, I am alive, I am trying, and that is enough. With reverence and gratitude to our practice, to all of our teachers, past, present, future, to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste, everyone.